Shabbat Shalom. As we pray this service tonight, I want to invite you to have the online prayer book open up as well so you can follow along with the words. All you have to do is go to the temple's website, leobecktemple.org/live. That's the live stream page for the temple, and there you'll be able to find a link to our Shabbat evening service, the online prayer book. You'll be able to follow along with us. Again, that's www.leobecktemple.org/live. You'll click on the link and join with us. But for now, these words are not going to appear inside the online prayer book, but they are words for this season. Return again to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are born and reborn again, just as we are seeking to be at this season of the year. As we prepare on this last Shabbat of the year 5780, as we prepare for the arrival of Rosh Hashanah and all that deep self-work that awaits. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again, return to the land of your soul.
Rabbi Chasen offered such a beautiful guided meditation with his beautiful video to the community today, and it really felt like such an invitation to just slow down from what has felt like a really hectic week where I have been on 11 all week. That's 1 to 10, and I felt like I was on 11. And it's just nice to dial back, maybe to like a 2 or 3, just for the next 25 hours, just to slow down and be present in this moment. As we come to the end of this year, we are really called to reflect, to do a cheshbon hanefesh, a real accounting of our soul, of who we are and who we aspire to be, and how do we just shrink that distance to be a little bit closer to who we want to be and how we're living in the world, and to think about what is the world that we seek to live in with our families and friends, with this community, with this great state of California and this country. What is it that we are seeking, and what are we doing to make that so? We could just take 3 deep breaths together as an act of resistance against the mayhem of the week, to just be here. We continue with Lechu Neranana, Psalm 95, which you'll find in the lower left-hand corner of the supplement, and is the 6th page in the online prayer book.
Sing, hear our song. Lechu niralina, ya la 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 la, la Adonai, ya la 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 la, ya Hariyah. Light, we rejoice. So now let us listen with all of our hearts to hear God's voice. Lechu niralina, la 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 la.
We are ready to welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst with the words of Lecha Dodi. You can find them on pages 20 and 21 of the online prayer book. The verses that we'll be singing are the first two verses, verses 1 and 2, on the top of page 20, and then on page 21, the top and bottom verses, verses 5 and 9. 1, 2, 5, and 9. Let us together welcome the Sabbath bride into our midst in song. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'diburecha, ishmi'anu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, v'shem u'tiferet v'tihila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necha, מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם משוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי אורי שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. If you are able to rise, I invite you to do so at this time and face the entrance to the room where you are praying and see her in your mind's eye, the Sabbath, the bride arriving. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. 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 If you are standing, please remain right there. The Baruch Hu can be found on page 28 in the prayer book. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
We continue on the top of page 31. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars, creator of the tide of time and light. You guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv Aravim. We continue at the bottom of page 33 together in preparation for the Shema. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. You may be seated, and we continue on page 36 with the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha v'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha b'derech u'shofbecha uv'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot ayadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'ktavtam hamezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru vasitem et kol misvartai vitem kedoshim le'elohechem hani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
There is so much chaos in this moment. There are so many things that seem to be changing so fast beyond our control. And also it feels like there is just extraordinary potential. There are often times in our lives where we feel tossed and turned, where we are agitated, where we're moved out of places of comfort. Very much like the Israelites, when they moved from the place of enslavement to a place of freedom, there was a lot of resistance. There was a lot of uncertainty. There was a lot of fear that they had to overcome. And in my most optimistic spaces, I imagine, I hope that we're in one of those times where there's just extraordinary potential for us to be a little bit more awake, a little bit more aware of how much suffering exists and the brokenness, be it in our educational system, healthcare system, amount of unhoused people in Los Angeles, whatever's going on, that we can just see it with a little bit more clarity in this time. And with that clarity, that we will seek as a nation to fix what is so profoundly broken. And that is the potential that is held out every time we sing Mi Chamocha, our song of freedom, that we can move from places to enslavement, from enslavement to freedom, and from chaos to some sense of order, and from evil to goodness. And that is really where we're called forth to find our piece of the puzzle. Sometimes it feels overwhelming, but how can we just find our piece and really dig in? So let's sing together. Let's raise our voices in one loud call for more justice, for more peace, and for finding our place. Let's join together on page 40 for Mi Chamocha.
Thank you, Rabbi Ross.
Next in the online prayer book on the supplemental page in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll find the words, Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. A prayer for the nighttime. As the darkness is starting to descend, as we're beginning to feel the ways in which our bodies and our souls change in darkness. And that's not just the physical darkness when the sun disappears, but it's that metaphorical darkness, some of that chaos that Rabbi Ross was talking about. When that kind of darkness takes us over, we find ourselves needing a prayer for peace. And that's exactly what these words, written by the rabbis hundreds of years ago, for that sentiment, for that experience that they had in their lives, and they know we would have in ours. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom. Cause us, when this darkness settles in on us, upon us and within us, lead us to peace. Ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. And remind us that life is stronger than that darkness. And when we arise, when light returns, so too will our lives be renewed. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'ha'amidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Beneath thy wings, O Adonai, guard us from all harmful things. O Adonai, keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Amen.
Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav says, every word of one's prayer should be like a rose that is picked from a bush. One gathers rose upon rose until a bouquet is formed and can be offered to God as a beautiful blessing. Let us use our words, our hearts to offer a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Lezocher Hastei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol atah, Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Memit, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Talachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim b'chol yom, Yahalelu Chased. We continue on our own with words from our heart. Through page 62, you can remain standing if you wish, or you may be seated to continue your prayers.
Page 62. The Amidah always concludes with a prayer for peace. Because even in times not so chaotic as these, we are still longing for a greater peace than we have ever known. A peace that begins deeply within each one of us. When we think of all the unrest that we carry around within us. The way to build peace in the world is to start with ourselves, to start with our families, our loved ones, our friends, the people we work with and go to school with. We can be vessels of peace for us and for them. Perhaps we can begin to stretch our arms and our hearts into all those places that they do not yet reach. Build a world of peace. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. May you, the God who makes peace in the highest places, inspire us to be peacemakers, near and far, for ourselves, for all Israel, and for all of humanity. Page 62. Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru Oseh Shalom Bimromav. Yaseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen. Yalla la la la, yalla la 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 la. Yalla la la la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la 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 la, yalla la la la. Yalla la la, yalla la, yalla la la, yalla la, ve'imru, amen. Ve'imru, amen. Ve'imru.
Every 2 to 3 Fridays, I make a big pot of chicken soup. So simple. It's just chicken and carrots and celery and onions and not much else, a little salt and pepper. And it's so incredible. And then just today, I walked by and I grabbed a little piece of challah and dunked it in and ate it. And I was like, oh, it just tastes like Judaism. And I immediately was transported to think about my grandma Sylvia and my great-grandma Mary. And that happens sometimes with the Misha Berach, our prayer for healing. We join together, we speak the names of people that we are just carrying on our hearts, people who are struggling of body, mind, and spirit. And then I just feel transported as if I'm just like with them and they are holding me and I am holding them. And it's just happening. So as we prepare for the Misha Berach, I just want to invite you to speak those names of the people that you want to be bringing some comfort to in this moment that you want to be holding, and you want to feel them holding you as well. We join together on page 253 for the Misha Berach.
Berach avotenu mikol habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us sing Amen.
We rise for Aleinu on page 282 at the bottom. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet kedula leotzer breshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo samchelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר באדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated.
Some words to help us prepare for the recitation of Kaddish, words found in the online prayer book on page 292. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear. But if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves and those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction he learned the law of God. And in truth, grief is a great teacher when it sends us back to serve and bless the living. We learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they're gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as in their higher moments they themselves wished to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing. As we prepare to recite the Kaddish prayer tonight, we remember especially Annette Aids, Wilfred Alter, Lisa Beth Applebaum, Solomon Bernhard, Ben Brucker, Rosebud Cohn, Janice Davidson, Irving H. Fisher, Jonathan Barry Giesberg, Samuel William Goldenberg, Harold Howard, Anna Kahn, Don Kaplan, Claire Levy, Michael Lertzman, Frema Marenberg, Cecil R. Moss, May Lubo Mosler, Louise Nemerson, Maurice Pateski, Bess Reagans, Millard Rosenberg, Florence Rubin, Rose Schlesinger, George T. Schwartz, Arnold Smith, Robert Stoller, Blake Wallens, Sylvia Wexler, Joanne Widzer, Dick Williams, Ralph Zwain. If there are other names we should include tonight, please speak them aloud. We think as well, of course, of all those who we remember in our hearts and name in our hearts, and also those who have perished as victims of COVID-19 here in the United States, now approaching 200,000 souls lost, and of course, so many more all over the world. We think also, especially on this Shabbat, the 19th anniversary of the tragedy of 9/11. You see some special candles burning in special candlestick holders, special for this Shabbat, as our hearts are directed back to that time that united our country in mourning, in grief, and in resolve as well. And we find in this difficult time as well the ability to unite once again, unite in memory and in strength. Holding all of them close at heart, we say, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, memory of the righteous is an everlasting blessing. As together we give thanks for the blessing of life. The words of Mourner's Kaddish, found on page 294. If you're able, please rise. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach chilutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'v'zman kariv imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal, shemei dekudshah b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom v'imroma, v'yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. May the giver of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort to all who are bereaved among us, and let us together say, Amen. Oseh shalom bimroma, uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, imru,
May you have a blessed and sweet Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Hope to be with some of you, if not all of you, tomorrow at Minyan, 9:30 in the morning, if you're up. And then for Slichot. Tomorrow night, we have some amazing learning to do at 8 p.m. and then gathering in prayer as we launch our way into the High Holy Days at 9 p.m. Shabbat Shalom.
I hope it is a beautiful Shabbat for you, the last Shabbat of this year, 5780. Incredibly, when we gather for Shabbat next week, we'll be gathering with our entire community, welcoming a brand new year. Of course, this last week of the year now ending is a very important time for us to be able to reach out to people who we care about the most, to be able to offer the apologies that they have been waiting for, to be able to offer the forgivenesses that they have been waiting for, to rekindle hope and possibility within relationships that are strained or broken. you think about the circumstances that we're living through, it's no great surprise that we are sometimes disappointing one another, frustrating one another, irritating one another, disappointing one another more than usual. It's a tough time. We need to be forgiving of one another, kind-hearted toward one another and toward ourselves in a way that is just as profound as the chaos and difficulty that we're living through right now. And so I really do hope that when Shabbat comes to an end, you'll come back and join us for Slichot, for the real official opening of this High Holy Day season tomorrow night with a program, interactive program, where we'll be, all the rabbis, our entire rabbinic team will be involved in conversation about a podcast that is all about reaching deeply into our hearts and souls to do the important work of this season of the year. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, it's intentionally late. The Slichut services are supposed to happen in the late hour on that last Saturday night, the beginning of the last new week of the year. And so 9 o'clock, we'll have our Slichut service. The Torah mantles will change from their colors of the years into the white of the High Holy Day season, and we will know that we are ready to welcome a new year. In the meantime, though, to help you make the most of this last week of 5780, we have the shofar, to make its unique sound, the one that reaches into us and opens us up like none other. If you want to close your eyes, to allow this sound to reach you, to change you, to inspire and guide you, I invite you to just close your eyes and allow the sound of the shofar to enter. Shabbat Shalom.